Perry Pencil.
Hello, this is Perry Pencil, and we have yet another challenger to step up to the mighty Thanos, and his name is Bucky Barnes. Do you think he has what it takes to take on Thanos? Well, let's draw him first before we find out the movie comes out. Okay guys, for this one, the drawing of Bucky Barnes is going to be a waist-high drawing. He will be holding a firearm. So let's go ahead on and divide this page in half and put a border at the top so that you don't take the head off the top of the page. Once completed, let's begin sketching the oval in. Once you get your oval completed, we'll go ahead on and come on down and do another oval for the width of the neck, or the length of the neck rather. Then we can go ahead and then measure the shoulders by the head, index finger and thumb. Mark it, slide it over, and then mark the other side. Once completed, we can go ahead on and put in what I call the coat hanger. That's where you come up with a triangular shape that goes behind the oval and on both sides of either shoulder. Now we're going to measure to the chest by head. We're going to mark that, come on down to where just above the waist is, and put the oval in for Bucky's upper body. Once completed, we could go ahead and put the chest line in and put the box shape for his upper body. Put a circle in for his right side and then for his left side. Now we're going to go ahead on and sketch lines for where the arms are going to be positioned, his left arm and his right arm. So as you see, we'll go ahead and put cylinders in for his bicep and tricep on the left arm. And then put a circle for his elbow and then put his forearm in. Now put a circle for his wrist and then another square for his hand. Notice I put a circle where his thumb is going to be. For his index finger, you can put a simple rectangular shape. Now we have the left arm done. We're going to jump over to the right arm and put a cylinder in for that. Bicep and tricep shape for the right arm. Then we have the gun shape coming in here. Notice I put a T shape right near where his left bicep and tricep is, and a handle for the gun on his left arm. Now notice I'm measuring between elbows and then putting the forearm in on his right side. And then we're going to put fingers in on his right hand. We don't see the thumb because the thumb will be hidden by the gun he's holding. And let the rest of the gun go off the page, and then put a square for his waist and a line for his leg going off the page. Now we're going to focus on his face. So for his face, typically what I do is I put in the jawline and then put in the actual temple line for his head. Now, as I finish the jawline, I'm going to go ahead and put in the eye line, nose line, and the mouth line. And then put the hairline in. Notice as I put the hairline in, it's helping me define where I want his hairline to be in place. And Bucky has long hair, so with each stroke with the pencil, I'm going to make sure that the hair is going to be neck length, or shoulder length, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and put the ears in place here. The left ear shows more than the right. And I'm going to go ahead and put his neck in. Now off of the temple line, we're going to put his expression in, which would be his eyebrows. And Bucky doesn't particularly have a frown. It's more of his face. It's like the sun is in his eyes type of thing, and so he's not necessarily frowning, but he's keeping the sun out of his eyes type of thing. If you notice, as I'm putting the eyes in, he's squinting. So particularly for Bucky, I'm capturing the essence of what he's about to endure. He's about to face off against Thanos, along with the Avengers and Wakandans and everybody else that's on the Marvel roster to go against Thanos. And so here, as you see, I'm sketching in the nostrils and then the details of the nose. And here, pretty much, if you notice, just pretty much lightly putting in details, suggesting certain sketches here and there to kind of refine what Bucky looks like, matching the actor as much as possible. Please keep in mind, most of my tutorials, they are not portrait tutorials. However, they do go along the line with the characters in the films that I'm drawing or what the subject matter is about. But it's more so a tutorial of how to draw the character. So I put that out there for those who come to Perry Pencil and they're expecting a portrait version of Bucky or Captain America, whoever I'm drawing. Just to keep in mind, I could do not tutorials, but I could actually do videos on a portrait version of any of these characters. But for now, I want to keep in mind that we have up and coming artists that want to know how to draw fundamentally, not be a master right out of the gate, so to speak. So now, getting back to the point of what I'm doing is etching in Bucky's light beard. He doesn't have a full beard like Captain America or Thor, so he does have, let's say, like not a full beard, but it's almost full grown, as you can still kind of see his skin underneath that. So here, putting in the right ear, or a portion of the right ear, not the whole ear, because you don't see it all. There's a strand of hair that covers that. I'm going to put the top portion of Bucky's hair in. And then have the last lock go just down over his upper right shoulder. And notice with these strands, make sure that they're kept loose. Again, at this phase of the tutorial, is not a final aspect of the drawing, but it's getting everything sketched and put in place so that when you go back over these type of drawings later, you can either keep something or get rid of something. And notice as I etch in or hatch, it creates a halftone. Halftone gives almost not a full 100% shadow, but it gives a 50% of it. So you can see the hair kind of colored in, but not 100%. So I'm going to zoom out here to finish the rest of Bucky's outfit. And it looks like he has somewhat of a vest on that comes across from the left over to the right. And then I'll be putting some shoulder pads that he's wearing. And the shapes that I'm using for this are pretty much triangular shapes, rectangle shapes. They kind of repeat themselves at times depending on what part of drawing we're doing or outfit we're putting in. And right now this would be a rectangular shape for his shoulder. He does have shoulder pads that come just over the edge of the shoulder. And it actually is almost like an L shape, but they both face each other because the right shoulder has the same thing. And it has looks like a loop or a strap or something that goes over the shoulder. Now we're going to repeat the same thing on the right side. Another thing to keep in mind when you're working from right to left on any figure, the two sides will never 100% match up and be the same. There's always an asymmetrical aspect about any character that you draw. Whether it be that their right arm is dropped slightly, their left arm raised, or shoulder raised higher than the right shoulder. The way the proportion of the body is, and the way they're standing. These are things I want you to keep in mind. So don't be too concerned about the right and left matching perfectly. We'll go ahead and start with the right and then begin putting in the fabric of what Bucky's wearing. He's not extremely muscular. He does have a bit of a muscle tone, but it's not like, let's say, Steve Rogers, Captain America, or Thor. He falls right underneath them, so he's a bit more lean in terms of muscle. And on the forearm on the right, he has a an arm guard that covers the forearm. And feel free at any given time, if you need to pause this tutorial to catch up or to look at a something particular detail or something that that may be going a little too fast for you, you can always feel free to pause it. There's no harm or no foul done with that. Now we're going to be dealing with the left arm, which is the metallic arm that Bucky has. Notice that I'm heavily relying on the cylinders that's drawn in for his arm, the circle for the elbow and the wrists. I'm connecting all the dots at this point. It is very important to have this stuff established way in the beginning of the drawing. So if you look now, I'm refining what's already there. We're going to finish out the rest of his outfit. The vest that he's wearing goes just down past his waist. He looks like he has some straps on either side. And then put his pants in. At this point, I'm going in. I went and cleaned up a bit and adding the strokes Bucky's hair in. And I'm going to begin adding some minor shading. If you notice here, I shaded his eyes in a little bit to give the feel of his eyelashes coming together. You don't see the eye as clear when that's being done. And shading in the beard lightly. Now we're filling in a negative space right behind his head and then on the other side, giving the hair a little bit more volume. We're going to begin adding some of the detail in the metallic part of the arm. And these shapes are pretty simple. They kind of follow one another in a descending order as they go down the arm. And just come straight across the bicep, and the tricep in the back has an opposite line going in a different direction. When you get down to the forearm, I'm going to add that one piece that wraps around. Right near the elbow. Then the rest is going to come towards the wrist. is going to cut towards the thumb. Then we're going to add in Bucky's knuckles. The metallic part there, just squares. Then on the index fingers, we're going to add 2 more lines. Now I'm going to time lapse this a bit and refine everything here. Of course, this is a stitch line that goes across his right arm. Then on his chest, he has diagonal lines that go across the vest that he's wearing. I'm going to add some fabric folds here. Finish out his forearm on his right. Making space for the gun later on. Shading the shirt and his neck. Now we're going to concentrate on the gun itself. Starting off with the fingers. Index, middle, ring, and then the pinky. We're going to go ahead and work on the handle. And here are the more complex components and parts of the gun. A lot of them are cylinder shapes, rectangular shapes. Working on the back end of the piece that goes right up underneath the arm that supports and holds the gun in place. Let's go ahead on and clear out an area for the top portion of the gun. Of course, we're going to add the scope in. And when doing the scope on that part, the cylinder again and rectangular shape, and these shapes repeat throughout the portions of the gun. And remember to sketch lightly, not to go heavy, because there are a lot of components to it or parts. Notice as I'm sketching this in, you can still see what all of the details are. There's no confusion there. And I suggest when you work on this portion of Bucky, work on them one part at a time, not as a whole. Section everything off. The part that's going into his hand is all one piece, one big rectangular piece. And then there's 3 lines or 2 lines rather, that goes in between that. Got a couple of arcs, and then we have the barrel that goes off the page. The barrel goes off the page because it's a large gun, and the way he's holding it, it's aiming it downwards. Doesn't have it raised to fire yet. And then here, as you see, I'm adding fine little details like little bolts and things like that holds the guns together, and parts of the scope. Let me zoom out here and darken in the lines where they need to be darkened. Finish out his pants. Add a little bit of shade into his hair. And as I'm finishing up, this is going to be finalizing parts of Bucky. And let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you think he brings to the table in Avengers Infinity War. How you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do with his metallic arm? I would like to hear about it. Definitely in the comment section, let me know what you think about him. Do you like Bucky? And that's going to complete this drawing.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by pressing this round button at the bottom. Also, click on one of the 2 top videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you. Perry Pencil.